video is being shown to you under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Hit the like button. Let's go.
What's up? What's up? It is your girl Survivor Speaks, and I'm back with a live stream. It's going to be my reaction to the Sierra Boone trial. Just to let you know, I've already did this live and just realized there was no sound. So before we do that again, let me check to make sure I have sound over here. One second. One moment. Un momento, por favor. And I don't even see it over here. Hold on once. Oh, I can't do that. I'm confused as to what's happening. Let me go to home and see what's going on. All right, so let me see. I want to make sure that I can actually hear before I start this one. I cannot believe, and it's just not showing up. Okay, there it is. All right. So, all right. So I should be able to hear. Okay. All right. So now I can hear. I don't know what happened to the last live I did. It was, you couldn't hear anything. And so I'm forced to be here to do it again. Okay. So, I see someone watching here. I see somebody watching over on Twitter. And today's rant, I'm going to be reacting to the Sarah Boone um, sentencing statement that she made yesterday during her sentence hearing. In advance, I'm letting you know that I will be going on a rant because, to me, from watching the evidence in the courtroom from to what Sarah displayed yesterday during her sentence hearing, um, sealed the idea for me that Sarah is a waste of space. Okay? The world would be a better place with her in it or out of it. If she's in it, she needs to stay in behind the wall in jail. Out of it could be anywhere. I'm never going to say I want somebody to be on a live because then I don't do that one. But finish off the sentence if you will. But so we're going to be reacting to that. I just want to make sure that I can hear because I just did this. Okay. So I will be doing this over. I'm doing it with a smile only because today we got some good news. But so I have to sit through this sentencing thing all over again. And this is how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. That is what I'm feeling. Like you did this. How did you get back here? You had no volume? But I don't understand because I just looked at everything that I had did before and everything is the same. So I don't understand why the volume did not uh, go through the other video. So I'm going to say again what I said in the last video about why I'm so happy today. So I'm happy because, we've been following this YSL trial. We've seen in the injustices that have been done in Fulton County courtroom. And today was a win for everybody that across the world that was rooting for um, the young men in a YSL trial. Now, for you naysayers, because there are a few, not too many that I've come across. So to the naysayers, I'm going to say it again. So we do believe that the young men committed crimes. That's a given. Their attorneys admitted to that, but they did not commit the crimes that Fulton County was trying to charge them with. And that's the whole difference, right? Because you can't charge people with unalivings that you tried to charge other people for. And this Fulton County needs to be fully investigated. And that's on the real. Anytime prosecutors can sit in a room and you have the jury that's out deliberating, and the jury comes in and says, hey, we want to see this piece of evidence. We want to hear this phone call between the defendant, Shin Stillwell, and a co-defendant. But the video that they wanted to hear, it was a phone call, but it wasn't between Mr. Stillwell and the other co-defendant. There was a conversation with the co-defendant and someone else. That's not a problem, right? That's not the problem. The problem is when they were preparing to the phone call for the jury to come back into the courtroom and to listen, it was brought to the attention of the judge and everyone in the court that the exhibit number that the jury sent in was a phone call, but it wasn't a phone call with Mr. Stillwell and that co-defendant. It was someone else. The issue here is that the state was trying to fight for them to go ahead and play the call and not advise them that Mr. Stillwell wasn't the one on this phone call. What? So you would be okay with playing this call for the jurors and misleading them to believe that the person that is on trial here and is facing a sentence in the double digits, a couple of life sentences Plus, so your argument is for them to play this call and not let the jury know that the two people that they think was having the conversation on the call, just to play it and not tell them that no, it is not the person that they think that is on the call. Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me right about now. You have to be kidding me. And from that little story that I just told you, you can definitely discern what it was like watching this trial, watching this train wreck, watching this injustice in front of the world. And Fulton County is so sure of themselves, they have been apparently able to get away with this before. And I can guarantee you that there are a plethora of men that are incarcerated right now and they're innocent, or they're incarcerated for a crime that they didn't commit. So in this case, it was a high profile case because there was a celebrity in this case. And there also was other defendants, his co-defendants were celebrities as well. They had not reached to the heights of the level that he had gotten to yet. But their music was out there and people were playing and listening to it. So these young men had started to make money. So they were able to get attorneys that were able to fight for them. Hey, Child Diggy, what's going on, Child Diggy? I'm glad to see that you're in the building. Child Diggy, can you drop me a 1 if you can hear me? I had already did this live and there was no sound, so I have to do it again. You hear me? You hear me, Child Diggy? Can you drop a 1 for me? And I didn't know Flesh of the Gods was doing a marathon of a live. Let me ask Child Diggy, can she hear me? Because if she can't, I'm going to be so upset. Can you hear me? So yeah, so I'm happy about the outcome and that these men were found not guilty. I don't see nothing. Did you? Okay, thank you, Child Diggy. Thank you so much. And so I'm happy to that these men were found not guilty. Flesh is gone. Yeah, so I didn't even realize I did this already, Child Diggy. Look at here. I gotta do it again. I gotta do it again. I gotta do it again. So yeah, it is crazy. Like, yeah, it's crazy out here in these parts. But I know, Child Diggy, like you've been watching this, with us in different on different platforms and everything like that. And I know today is a glorious day for us. Today is a good day. Today we are rejoicing that these men were found not guilty, and we would have it no other way. But Fulton County definitely needs to be investigated. Like I said, there may be many men locked up behind that wall and they're innocent. And they didn't have the money to get the kinds of attorneys that these young men were able to get. And so today was a win for us. Like I said, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, Jeffrey, we should have waited." He did what was best for him at the time, so I respect it. He had children out here. He has children out here that lost a mother while he was incarcerated. He lost a sister while he was incarcerated. He lost Rich Homie Quan, regardless as to what narrative they tried to put out there while he was incarcerated. and he has an illness that needs to be taken care of properly. I worked in a jail for 7.5 years. For his condition, he wasn't getting the proper care. I don't even need to be there, but I already knew it. So I'm going to say it. So before I start this Sarah Boone rant, because I'm going to rant, because Sarah Boone is a piece of garbage and a waste of space. And you're going to see this for yourself. Um, I'm a little happy with, you know, because of the result of the YSL trial. I know yet Gotti should be home right now, and I'm praying that Shannon is not too far away. I hope he can clear up whatever, he got, whatever he got himself into while in jail. These guys had to always be on alert because they were always attacking them. Still, Yak Gotti just got stabbed in the head the day before yesterday. He had staples in the front of his head. And I loved his mother. Oh my gosh, the passion in that speech his mother had. You think so, Chaldigi? You know what? I don't think so. And the only reason why I don't think so, I think that they would be where we was probably, you know what, you're right. I would probably say maybe we're behind a day or two. Because the thing is, Whitaker, because Whitaker woke up and realized she was being bamboozled. So, and Whitaker was like, nah, no, and she can't, even when she gave out the sentence today to Shannon, she like kind of like was letting the state know, sticking it to them, you know. So Whitaker came in and she was on the state side at first, but then all of these things happened, and she had to open up her eyes, and I'm pretty sure that she was able to see because she said it on the bench. She went off on Love. I loved it. Shared that on TikTok. That video over there is almost at 20,000 views. I don't even really do TikTok like that, but whatever. And so I'm just happy today. It is a win for us. I'm glad that those men get to go home. And I'm gonna just say it, y'all diggy. I like that. I like that child diggy page is on the right page. Yes, she was. But I'm not going to say allegedly because I was over there on the Twitters. X, formerly known as the Twitters. And baby, Shannon Stillwell's wife done put up a post. His wife put up a post. Baby. I said, okay, Kayla, say no more. We'll go follow your baby. She talk about daddy is on his way home. Okay, well, let it all out then, Miss Kayla, because you were still trying to deny this thing. In the end, the attorney had already pulled their paperwork. They got their marriage license in Texas. But Kayla was still saying, well, I'm not agreeing or denying. Still, she was still saying this last week, baby. Today, they done, her baby got found not guilty. He gonna be home on parole. And Miss Kayla just done went over to the Twitters like, follow my baby. I said, okay, he's followed. All right. She talking about her daddy about to come home. Now, I hope they don't get the scrapping out here in these streets. Because, one day, his wife and his two girlfriends, I don't know, they was all in the courtroom at the same time. How the hell Shannon worked that out, I don't know. But I take my hat off to the boy, because if you're doing it like that from behind the wall, baby, you must have something going on in those areas. You hear me? Yes. So Miss Kayla was talking about her thing. So now I want to get right into this Sarah Boone statement that had me pissed. Pissed. You hear me? I was livid yesterday. So what I'm going to play first is the video of George Torres's mother. How she got up there And the first thing she said was, Sarah Boone, I don't hate you for what you did to my son. Very graceful to only be slapped in the damn face because Sarah Boone's statement was off the charts. I said, could this BI get any more disrespectful than what she's been getting? But we can all rest well knowing that her son told her him and his father don't owe you nothing. His father don't owe you Nathan, you hear me? Nothing. He wants you to leave them alone. You see how when you do people wrong, how it come back to bite your ass? So yeah, we're going to look at that video first. And then of the mother. And then we're going to come back with Sarah Boone's crazy behind statement. Child, I don't even understand it. No understands it. Hold on. That sound like Destiny. Tell us, Judge. Yep. Yep. Denied. As it should. So I'm going to pause him because since it was playing, and we're going to get right up here to the mother. Okay, so she's coming up now. Hey, Chloe Albert's revenge. All right, let me get home. Let me get the mother on the stage because hold on, I don't want her to. I gotta get over here and do this. But Chloe Alberts, child, this is a whole mess. She said Sarah Boone. Her name is Sarah Paulson because she said her favorite Looney Tune. Okay, you got bars. You got bars, Chloe. It's too early. It's too early for you. It's too early. But her name is Sarah Paulson. She should stop using her ex-husband's last name. That ain't your last name no more, fool. Stop using that man's name. His son told you. Well, anyhow, she is. I have never been so upset. I was when I tell you I was mad. I was pissed off to the highest level of festivity. Listen to George's mother and how she started her her impact statement off versus how Sarah gets up here and child, it was just too much. I'm not a lawyer, but I got Child Diggy and Chloe in the comments. It's about to be a mess. It's about to be a mess over here. But this is the mother.
Honey, I just want to tell Sarah that I don't hate her for what she did. I always remember that evening when that lady came into my door and she knocked at the door. She asked me my name. I said, I tell her my name. And then she said, can I come in? I said, okay, yes. And she told me to sit down. I never think that was gonna be my son. And then she said my son was dead. Since that day, I can't sleep. It's hard for me to remember that moment. My son is not here no more. She don't only kill my son, she killed a father, a brother, an uncle. It's been hard. I'm a family because all the brothers, they will always work together. But now it's like something real. Love is missing. Sometimes when I look out the window, I'm waiting for him to come and say, Mom, I love you. She was always there. She called me and missed us, Mommy. The last time that I talked to him was at 12 o'clock in January, New Year. He came to my bed and said, Mom, he woke me up and I said, Mom, I love you. Happy New Year. Since that day, I don't see him no more. You know, my son, I love him. And I miss him a lot, and my family miss him a lot too. But I don't hear, but you know what? I was blessed. She ain't gonna be blessed like me because I have my son, I raised him, I have his children, my granddaughter, my grandson, and she don't gonna be able to have that. And I did. I raised him. He wasn't perfect, but he was a good son. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Need anything further from this witness? Defense?
All right,
Thank
so
you.
that's George's sister that's walking her mother back to the seat. She does speak, and what she said was she she said it may sound strange, but she doesn't zip up suitcases all the way anymore. And I don't think it's strange, not at all. You know, you lost your brother in that way. So, I can sympathize and empathize with her, and how she's feeling about, something as simple as zipping up a suitcase now will forever haunt them. But still, this waste of space. Sarah, you get up there and you assassinate this man all over again. You assassinate his family. Uh, just the way she kept calling their family out, I was so upset. I was wishing that somebody would have just told her. That's what they needed in the court. Shut up. This lady here is grieving for her child that you unalived, and you have the nerve to be. Child digger, you know what? And I definitely can relate to that. So Chloe says women still use their married names. Yeah, I know. I know. It's just a dig at her because I don't know if people look into all the other shenanigans that she has going on. So it's a reason why I'm saying that she needs to go back to using Paulson and not Boone because she's harassing her ex-husband right now too. She's mad because he went to court to file a motion to stop paying her $1,000 a month alimony. Like, you don't have your child no more. You're in jail. And the letters are crazy that she wrote to the judge. Like, so she's harassing the judges, everybody. So I wouldn't, yeah, and Chadigi, I can definitely agree with that. Garment bags, but if y'all knew who if you knew who Jaguar Wright was, just do what she do. Get you a bag of Crown Royal. She carry her stuff in the Crown Royal bag. I get the big bottle, but the bag still ain't that big. But every time she traveling somewhere, that's what she traveling with. The Crown Royal bags. It is hilarious. But girl, you keep talking about you a celebrity. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. But anyway, so let's get on to this dag on. So she spells it with an E. She spells it Paulsen. So yeah, we're not gonna take away from Sarah. Oh yeah, Sarah Paulson. We're not gonna take away from her. She doesn't even spell it like that. So then all right, so I'm gonna go past that. I want to get to okay, yeah, because the prosecutor comes afterwards. So I want to get to the when Sarah gets on the stand so y'all can hear. And I'm just going to tell y'all I'm going to be pausing from time to time and having a little rant going on because, and you'll see why if you didn't see this already, why I'm going to have a little rant going on. This bitch is crazy and she needs to. Yes, that's what she needs to do. Shut up.
I have 6 handwritten letters. First one,
know her.
Second one is 2 pages. Third one
Nothing
is 1
she
page.
says is true.
Fourth one is 2 pages.
I hope everybody
Fifth
knows.
Sixth
Nothing
one
that she
is
was
just of a typed letter from Diane Smith, the
Tread
assistant
lightly.
chaplain. I have another typed letter from a Nicole Ray, a typed letter from a Stephanie L.
You've been exposed, Chloe. So you've been
An
exposed.
email from Lena Albert, and 2 pages in length. A 2-page
Chloe
email
said,
from a Danielle
you
Parsons.
just don't travel no more.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Judge, I would like to call Sarah Boone.
You may proceed.
You can take this.
Yes, please.
Here comes the loser.
So you've been previously sworn. You may inquire, sir.
Now, this is unlike a trial, so you're allowed to speak in a narrative form, as well as I understand you have taken some notes or written a letter that you want to read from, and then you want to speak to the board after that.
Oh, what's wrong, Chloe? What's wrong?
This is actually an edited version of
What's wrong?
I had a lot to say. I've had a lot of time to think about things, and I didn't really know how to put it on paper. And I didn't know how much I could say or how little I should say. So what I have here is, like I said, an edited version. But I would like to read the more important parts that I feel that everyone should know that wasn't said in my actual trial. And on top of what I have on paper, this is just the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. So I wanted to read this, and then if I may, I would like to address everyone in my apology on top of my statement.
You may proceed, ma'am.
Kintu Sukuroi is a kind of Japanese ceramic style which means to repair with gold. In this tradition, when a ceramic piece breaks, an artisan will fuse the pieces back together again using liquid gold or gold dust lacquer. So rather than being covered up, the breaks become more obvious and a brilliant new piece of art emerges from the brokenness. It embraces flaws, weakness, and imperfections, and also teaches the essence of resilience. Every crack in a ceramic piece is a part of its history, and each piece becomes more beautiful because it has been broken. This is the wisdom of Kintu Sukuroi. In my wisdom and with all of my repairs, then, now, and ongoing, God is, has been, and will always be my artisan. All of my gold is forgiveness. This has held me together, made me shine brighter, and overcome the damage caused by George Torres, the Torres family, the justice system, Orange County Corrections Department, social media, scoundrel detectives, infamy, defamation, ongoing constitutional rights violations, second-degree murder, forced into being pro se. Just as gold is very precious, forgiveness is inevitable. Forgiveness is not.
I gotta stop this bitch right here. Did y'all hear what she said? She blaming everybody, even us. You go from hearing his mother saying what she said to opening up your statement with attacking the mother, the family, the judge, you, me, everybody that has something to say about her. She feels like she gets a fucking pass. Oh, excuse me. Lord, I need to censor myself. She gets a pass for being an a-hole. I can't wait till they get her, wait till she goes to prison. Because it's not going to be anything like that jail that you in. And let me go back on and turn this over because she's about to drag George. She's about to drag him. Disgusting.
An attempt to change what or how you've lived through to be so gold, but an act of grace, humility, and considerable self-compassion to be set free from sorrow. Withholding forgiveness denies your brilliance and adds even greater grief and deeper heartache, irreparable cracks on top of the already that no one deserves, no matter the pain or disappointment, untruths or injustice. It doesn't matter. As the more broken you are, even though now different than before, you've become more outstanding and more extraordinary. Above all, when you let go of blame, misunderstandings, excuses, give up your anger and cease from resentment, this is forgiven. And when you forgive, you have, and when you forgive, you heal. And when you heal, you move forward. My goal begins with George Torres, and every time he slapped me, kicked, punched, spit on, raped, stabbed, choked, laughed at, pushed, pulled, dragged, whipped, tripped, stole from, lied, terrorized, threatened, humiliated, forced, degraded, made me cry. Every time he tried to end me, defeat, or destroy. I forgive George for beating me senseless, for trying to sleep because I had to go to work or my son's field trip the next day, for ruining my deceased family's heirlooms, traditions, and keepsakes, my son's furniture, destroying the television we watched together, for wrecking our townhome by breaking windows, punching holes in the walls and doors, ramming his entire body into glass doors, kicking in my front and back door over and over and over, for breaking or removing the locks from all of the doors and sometimes the knobs altogether, so I had nowhere to feel safe, including the sacred space of my son's room where he beat me bloody on his bed. For terrorizing and threatening my blind and deaf dogs by leaving the gate open I built to keep them safe, telling me he hoped I'd find their bloated dead body in the pond or scrape the remains off of the pavement, for kicking them off of the bed and throwing across the room because they were trying to protect me.
Now, see, that's where I throw the goddamn line. Now, did you hear what she just said, right? She got 2 dogs. I'm not laughing, Lord. I'm not laughing. I do not like to harm animals. I lost my dog last year. She passed away from cancer. So her birthday's coming up the end of this month. So Lord knows I don't believe in messing with, animals. I'm not an animal lover, but I love my dog. But anyway, so she wants us to believe, because her dog, one was deaf, blind. And I'm trying not to, it's just somebody said something when the trial was going on and it was funny, but I'm not laughing at them dogs. So these dogs, the one that can't hear and the one can't see, and they were very small dogs. They were trying to protect you. And he took those dogs and slung them across the room. You know what? Sarah needs to start writing books. She needs to become an author. She can make a lot of money with that imagination that she has. But I'm so glad that she didn't take the 15-year plea deal that they were offering her. And so she talked her way right into that good old life sentence. So she can say whatever it is that she wants to say. I just thought it was so disingenuous. And his family is still grieving, sitting in the back of that courtroom. You just heard what his mother said. And you get up here and you do this. But wait a minute, because this is not it. All right, we're going to get right back into it though. But this fool here talking about, I can't believe she tried these two dogs that George. And did you hear everything she said that he did to her? Let me tell you why she said he was walking into glass doors. Yeah, life. Let me tell you why she said he was walking into glass doors, though. She's trying to put a narrative out there, because when they came to move George to the to the medical examiner's office, to be examined, they wanted to know, why was he bruised? Why did he have all of these marks all over him? And she was like, oh no, I didn't do anything. I hope you're not trying to say that I hit him. That I don't know what happened. He likes to walk into doors and stuff like that. What didn't come out at the time they did the interrogation is because she was lying. She didn't realize, she thought she erased the video of him in the suitcase. The second part didn't quite come out until the trial. According to her, she zipped George up in the suitcase. It was a joke. Wait, first they was playing hide and go seek. And he got in the suitcase. Then she changed it till they thought it was a joke. He got in there. She zipped him up. She said he just got mad and started cursing at her from inside the suitcase now. Let me out. When I get out from here, I'm going to unalive you, is what she's saying that he was saying. She said he took his two fingers and put them in between the zipper and the part that you use to unzip with. And he was trying to unzip the suitcase, but she was so scared because he said he was going to unalive her if he got out. So she took a bat and started just hitting his fingers. And so he moved his fingers back and he didn't try anymore. Well, according to the medical examiner, there was no way, looking at his body and them examining him, there was no way that he was even hit with a bat inside the suitcase. She hit that man with a bat before he got in the suitcase. So the way I'm thinking, because we won't know the truth, George is not here to tell it. She hit George and had him get in that suitcase and locked him and zipped it. She beat that man with a bat. They did a demonstration at the trial with the same bat she used, and they hit the suitcase. The bat wouldn't have even have touched him. That's how hard the top of the suitcase was. And the prosecutor, he didn't even warn anybody. It was a part of his demonstration. He just came over and boom, hit it. And you hear that it's not going to go with whatever was made inside of that suitcase. It wasn't going to, it wouldn't have done as much damage as what the damage that they saw on George's body. So she beat that man with a bat. She's an abuser. George was abused. They may have gotten into scuffles because maybe he was trying to protect himself, but the cops even got tired of coming there, and they said to George, listen, what's going on? What's really happening? We can't help you. Every time we come here, you say nothing has happened. And you have bruises everywhere, and you wind up going to jail. But she used the cops as a weapon, though. She used the cops as a weapon. She would tell him to come over, and when he get there, she would call the cops. I think this was a premeditated murder because of all the time she called the cops, and every time she called him to have him come there, she would call the cops. He's just like any other woman that we think of when we think of people that are battered. Men get battered too. So it was like a psychological thing with him. He knew she was going to call the cops, but she always called him to come there, and then she would call the freaking cops. She a raw digger. You know what? I'm not doing this with you, Chloe. I'm not doing
For
this.
threatening to make me unrecognizable to my son by breaking all of the bones in my, like his brother Moses did to him after he kept seeing all of the bruises from George beating me, like all of the times my father beat their mother, for all the drunken rages and fist fights with so many neighbors when wandering into their apartments during hunting expeditions after I had escaped, for drowning me in liquor and wine because I didn't want to drink, causing me to urinate on myself, then butting the end of the bottle in my face, giving me 2 black eyes and a bloody nose, for making me experience what it is to be sodomized, threatening to kill my friends and the neighbors when they checked on me to make sure I was alive and in one piece, for threatening to burn down our townhome and set my car on fire because I got a job, for holding me hostage on weekends my son was supposed to come over by keeping my keys around his neck, my phone in his crotch, and a butcher knife stuck in the middle of the table as a warning not to ask anything or try to leave, for stabbing me in the leg and not letting me call 911 for an ambulance or seek help, where I nearly bled to death until I concocted a lie to save him from being arrested, for destroying my phone with a hammer because my son called, for me experiencing ever being arrested and after today, prison, for beating me almost blind, crushed mind, but a lobe, for having me experience what it means to see stars like in the cartoons, where a character has a tall lump on their head. I had that too, and many times. For dragging me downstairs by my hair in the middle of the night just to sit next to him. For taking my car driving drunk with my debit card to buy more alcohol while I slept, even after I kindly explained the importance of my car to take my son to school foremost, me to work, and he to his batterers intervention classes and probation officer meetings, where I would be forced to sit for hours in the parking lot waiting for him. For causing me so much trauma and pain, mentally, physically, emotionally, I had to be hospitalized more than once. For destroying my reputation and integrity, for my M for murderer scarlet letter, not letting me feel safe to live, talk to other people, spend time with my son, have a job, friendships, simply go to the bathroom with the door closed, or go to sleep soundly or comfortably. I forgive George for lying, for him trying in so many ways, so many times, to end me with his terrifying love. I also forgive the Torres family, his mother and foremost, also his 2 ex-wives and daughters, all for knowing who George was capable of and has done in the past, his history of violence and where he learned it, than to keep turning a blind eye when I would ask for help. All of his siblings, including Pharrell Torres, who is now on his way to prison for stabbing the mother of their baby in the side of her head. For everyone who knew what George was doing to me, sometimes how and when, but allowed and enabled. I forgive them for caring too late. I hope they all ask themselves while quiet and comfortable in bed at night the uneasy question, what could I have done to stop this from happening to both of them? And after all the times Sarah tried to, by asking for help, from all of us, and so many times. Another great contributor of my gold is social media, with its greed, insensitivity, deception, obvious exploitation, and advantageous gain for my criminal case as a whole, and for sentencing me by anticipation as a result of ignorance and hate, conjured and fabricated by the organized crime that is social media, which condemned me in the court of global public opinion since the beginning. My family law case is the new prey waiting to be picked apart and pillaged from me being made infamous by social media in my criminal case. It simply seems I cannot forgive and be forgiven and move forward. Social media has made me a pariah. It has caused great oppression and undeniable disadvantages, especially by broadcasting and manipulating my cases online. In my criminal case, as a result, my opportunities to be given a fair, proper, and uninfluenced, successful conclusion was heavily depleted and poisoned. I forgive them. Also, all of the media tycoons for not having a life of their own, trying so desperately to make themselves seem so right by making me appear so wrong. Forgiveness for prejudgment, ridiculous theatrics, lies, making and taking blood money from my and others' misfortunes, accidents, and catastrophes. It's all over their hands and their keyboards. And even after all that's been said and done, theorized, hypothesized, scrutinized, and blasphemed in my case, in the end, I forgive myself for not choosing my life sooner, for not being more brave, vigilant, bolder, and outspoken, stronger, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, for being hopeless, desperate, simple-minded, weak, and inexperienced. I forgive myself for not realizing I was enduring a life of domestic violence and that the vicious cycle of never ends. I had nothing to compare to. I've never been hit by a man ever before in my life. I was raised hitting a woman was wrong and should never happen. No excuse. I forgive myself for not escaping permanently, for not fighting back sooner to save myself, my son, my daughter.
Excuse me, I gotta step in here for my rant. I'm so sorry. Sarah, please stop lying, because your ex-husband said that you're very abusive when you are drunk. So please miss us with the BS. Her ex-husband said that he's pretty sure that George may have started some of the fights, he said, but he knows from experience that the majority of the fights were started by Sarah because at the hands of Sarah when she was drunk, and she would get drunk often. So the fact that she keeps trying to say that George made her drink, no. What about the days when he was not at your home and you would call him to come to your home and you would already be drunk? But Sarah will never take accountability for her actions. She does not know what the word accountability means. And she's very, why would you get on the stand? You already wrote this judge so many letters degrading him, degrading the system and everything. So you get on the stand and you actually are degrading him in your statement. You're a liar. The truth is not in you. You're a abuser. And I can't say, I normally wish Bubba on the men. I'm going to have to find somebody else to wish on her. But she really had me livid. This is crazy. And I just want to let y'all know too, the lawyer went to the courtroom. He didn't want people to, he said he sat in the corner. He didn't want to bring too much attention to himself. He does have a big channel on YouTube, and if I saw him in public, I would know exactly who he was. So he didn't want people to know that he was there. He didn't want to take away from the family. He didn't want to take away from the trial. So he said he sat in the back in a corner. And he said there were people sitting in front of him. And it turned out to be that they were jurors from her trial. They wanted to make sure they was there at this sentencing hearing to make sure she got what she deserved, and they wanted to see her get sentenced. So the mother, his sister, some other family members, they had walked out they left while she was giving the speech. Like after the first insults that she threw around, they got up and they walked out. And they didn't need to. They don't have to sit there and listen to your nonsense after you took their son's life. But Sarah is in for a rude awakening, and I cannot wait to hear about some of the stuff that she's going through. But you know what will hurt her more? She's no longer going to be interesting to the public. So that's going to hurt her more than anything. So you know what? So that's enough right there. When now she's sentenced, people are going to look at her statement, react to the statement, do their reaction videos, and then she's fading to black. So yeah, that's good enough for her. Like I just can't believe that you're sitting there like you are high and mighty, ma'am. You are a red rummer. You're an unaliver, and you're no better than anybody else that is incarcerated for the same thing.
Dogs, home, and car. Having hindsight thinking of everything I could have done differently or better to avoid the outcome. I think about this every day since. Also, of all the good days we had together, for him at least, while I was constantly in hyperdrive, high alert, and paranoid, making sure I did everything right all the time. If not, the great possibility I would be ended as George threatened me with so many times before. I forgive myself for falling in love with a monster, and no matter how grotesque he may become, I still loved him, hoped, and forgave. I tried breaking the spell so he wouldn't be anymore. I saw who he was inside. George made me then all of his cracks also. We made each other our own brilliant pieces of art from the cracks and repairs. Unfortunately, not all cracks can be. In all of my forgiveness, George is my greatest lesson and will forever be a part of me. I think of him every day and still speak to him when alone in the red yard. I ask his forgiveness and that he looks for me at the gates of heaven so I can tell him how sorry I am, endlessly, and that I never stopped loving him. In all of it and still. When I first came to jail, I put my mat under my bed and cried all day and all night for months, only falling asleep from being so exhausted with grief. I wrote him letters. I wrote his family and his daughters, apologizing for asking for their forgiveness. But due to fear that my life or sons would be jeopardized, I did not send. I am sorry. I cannot begin to fathom any of their grief and sadness. Please forgive me. Almost everything reminds me of him, seeing my stab wound especially, every day especially. It truly reminds me that all I really did live through. George haunts me. He is everywhere. I believe because I do still love him, think of him, and miss his laugh the most. In my heart, I know he is with me and understands that this tragedy was not intentional. I hope everyone can, his family foremost. I didn't mean for this to happen. Please wholeheartedly know that and always. I never. Forgive me, Torres family. Forgive me, Judge Craig. Just planet, please forgive me. Ask for reconciliation instead of restoration for all of us to move forward. My apology is profuse and ceaseless. Allow me please to brush off the muck, wipe the blood off of my face, and fix the cuts in my skin. I ask for understanding in what really happened and for how long. For second chances, repentance, and redemption to advocate for all domestic violence survivors, to help them overcome, heal, and still hope, always, to make their voices heard, to confidently walk with all of their scars on the outside and the inside, to help them not ever become a casualty of domestic violence as so many others, to stop the abuse and maltreatment before it's too late. There is always hope, and you can survive. In my soft-spoken conclusion, I ask this. Would I be the darling mother, celebrated woman of the year, if it were I who died? How many daughters, mothers, sisters, aunts, grandmothers, nieces, and friends have been because they did? I am a survivor. Rebuke oppressors. Defend the fatherless. plead for the widow. Isaiah 117, all-encompassing, protect the abused.
Does that mean that you're a good state?
Yes.
Yeah, your thoughts. You want to make a oral statement.
I do. My verbal statement is primarily to the Torres family, to the judge, to his daughters. I know you all know who I really am, and that I did care for George, and that I do still love George. I know you know that we had very many good days, and I take offense to the statement of being said that this is just for a moment. Right now with me here in the courtroom in front of you all, this is just for a moment. But the moments before that, in order for me to be here, is endless. It's everlasting. The scars that I have on the inside, my outside scars have healed, except for my stab wound. But this has changed me as a person to see things differently and to understand things differently and to not be weak and just try to protect yourself and forever, regardless of the time that I may receive from today. I have this experience. I forever will have George Torres with me in my heart, in my mind, my body, and my soul. As he and I used to say that we were one soul split into two bodies. This is not just for a moment. It may be for everyone in this courtroom, but when I leave, this is forever. When you all leave, that this is forever. This is forever for everyone here and there's to most. I am one of those who will experience this forever. I'm sorry. Words do not define my shame, and I don't know what else it is that I can say and convey to the Torres family how this happened. The ifs and whys and how really don't matter. It happened, and I'm sorry. Words cannot describe. And I hope one can forgive me, the Torres family most of all, and his daughters, because I know what he meant to them. And I don't think that anybody ever understood what he meant to me and I to him. And I ask for forgiveness.
I have just one or two questions. You can speak on it if you want. This is a unique case, and one of the reasons it's so unique is that you were in jail for 4.5 years prior to your trial. And I understand that brought up as a child that you did have spirituality in your family. Some church, some religion. But I understand that you got away from that. Did you have a chance during the 5 years to look back at your spirituality?
Absolutely. You know, everyone supposes that this is one of the worst experiences of my life, and it's actually been one of my greatest. If I were not beaten to death, I was going to work myself to death on the outside, and I never had time to get back into my Bible and to pray and to be with the Lord. And I, being here incarcerated, have had time, of course, to get closer to God, to reacquaint myself to Him, and realize what it's all about. This is all temporary, and when I say temporary, I don't mean by being set free in jail or from prison or wherever else. It means being set free and temporary, meaning that you work for something higher, you work for God, that you strive for your crown to be placed upon your head by Jesus Christ by being said, "You have done well, my good and faithful servant." I've always tried to be a good and faithful servant. I was just a servant as opposed to doing all the when my family were at a point. I've become so much more closer to the be such a better person, and hope that I am an example going forward of the Lord's light and can draw many people to me because of it.
Any follow-up? I assume that was. Thank you. She can return back to council's table. Anything else from your side of the ledger, Mr. Owens?
No more witnesses, Judge. Just
Okay. Anything else in rebuttal, or just proceed to argument state? Okay. All right. Once Ms. Boone is seated, you can proceed with your argument, either Mr. J or Mr. Cacciatore.
So I want to play the prosecutor's statement here, and
You may
then
proceed, sir.
I'm going to cut out that attorney, her attorney.
My argument, why would I detain Mr. Rowland to bring up his presentation regarding the plea offer in this case? That she was offered resolution in this case of 15 years in the Department of Corrections to begin with. I think it's important, though, that the entire circumstance of that plea offer is put forward. And there's something very critical to that. It's not just 15 years in the Department of Corrections. It's 15 years in the Department of Corrections, but it's predicated on something. And the consideration that it's predicated on is the defendant coming to court and accepting responsibility for her actions. But we're coming to court and saying, I am responsible for George Torres's death, and I accept the punishment that comes with it. That consideration was never given in this case. Because that consideration was never given in this case, the offer of 15 years in no way represents what this case is worth, or what George Torres's life is worth. That is an offer predicated on a particular circumstance, a circumstance of a first-time defendant accepting responsibility and giving every benefit of the doubt in coming to court and saying that they are ready to be punished. Those conditions were never met. So then we turn to this case, and we turn to this crime, and we turn to the actions of the defendant taking the law and murdering George Torres. She has never shown remorse for that. She didn't show remorse for that here today. She again painted herself as the victim. She's the victim of George Torres. She recounted the litany of evil deeds and mistreatments that he perpetrated upon her. She's the victim of George Torres' family. She's the victim of the police. She's the victim of social media. It's all about Sarah Boone. Everything's about Sarah Boone and about how she is the victim. And Sarah Boone sentenced every one of George Torres' loved ones to a life sentence. Just like she sentenced George Torres when he was in that suitcase. George Torres lived out his last nightmarish circumstance in that suitcase, begging to be let out for several minutes, which undercuts any argument that this was somehow unsophisticated. There was ample time and opportunity over and over for her to do something different. But she went forward with taking the law into her own hands and ensuring that George Torres was never getting out of there. While she went up to bed and went to sleep for hours on end. She can't say that she was in duress for the same reason. She was in such duress of George Torres that she goes upstairs and goes to sleep for 11 hours. Your Honor, there's been nothing from the testimony of Dr. Parker either that establishes any type of diagnosis that would give this court a basis to downward depart. Dr. Harper has put blinders on to the fact that she has been incarcerated for 58 months. 58 months with the opportunity to receive mental health treatment, and the expert witness is absolutely incurious about what any of those records or diagnosis or anything that would have been there would have said. There is no valid basis for a downward departure in this case. She deserves a life sentence. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, response?
All right, so her attorney, we don't.
First off, long checking.
Uh, self- and he didn't on. But why is this over here? Understand she is in America. She is deserved representation. Representation. She was found guilty by a jury of her peers, and not only did she fight dirty until the end, he joined her in the nonsense. And I don't want to hear anything that he has to say. For him to stand up there and continue to assassinate, George, he saw the evidence. If anybody didn't watch this trial all the way through, or just go to the day where she testified and the evidence came out on those days, you will see exactly what it was. So I'm going to just move right past him because I don't want to hear nothing he got to say. I don't. Let's take it on up. Get out of here. He's a waste of time. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. We went past it. This is the fastest verdict. This verdict and the verdict from yesterday. I missed a good part. My bad. God, my bad. Sorry. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. I hear that bull crap. Mr. Owens, please have a seat. Yeah, we're gonna rewind. I want to hear that again. I would like to hear that again. Yeah, I want to hear it again. Have it. There we have it. She is going to be off to her new home, her new permanent home. They just need to get her a ride. Um, she got what she deserved. If George was really abusing her the way she said that he was, call the cops. Let the courts prosecute him and arrest him. But I followed this trial from the interrogation to the end, and I truly believe that Sarah was the abuser. Nobody can tell me different. When you see the evidence, and the way she antagonized him and the way she made him get on camera and say some certain things to make herself look good, it's pretty disturbing, especially when he was balled up in the fetal position outside of her bedroom door and she came out there going off. What are you doing? I told you not to come in my effing room. Don't step foot in here. And didn't I tell you not to wake me up? And I was just like, wait a minute, hold on. So then I looked at the trial and how she weaponized the police department, and it's just me. This is my opinion. I believe that Sarah, this was premeditated. I don't think that the suitcase part of it was premeditated, but all the time she called the police to come and arrest him. He would leave, go stay somewhere else. She would find him, call him, tell him to come over. Just like an abused woman, men get abused too. He would go to her home, and as soon as he would get there, she would call the cops, and the cops even asked George, like, "What is going on? Like, what we come here, you have bruises everywhere, but you never want to tell us what's going on." So he never wanted to be the one to tell on Sarah, but she got arrested because one time she called them. He was beat up worse than she was, and the cops just was like, "Oh no, she's going too." So they charged her with a felony on camera. It's in evidence how she sat there, got him on camera, and made him say some things to the public. And then she was sitting there saying, yeah, he was like, that's it. I said it. And she was like, no, you're not finished. Tell them I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Tell them I'm an angel. And I already had felt a way, but when I saw that, I was just like, wait a whole minute. There is something going on deeper here. So Sarah is no angel. I think it was very disingenuous how you assassinated him, you took his life, and then you got on the stand again and assassinated him, his family, the judge, even y'all, even you guys, even me, social media. She said we need to find something else to do. Oh, ma'am, we are true crime junkies, and we're watching you. And so, yeah, so she got what she deserved. Um, Prayers go out to the Torres family. His mother, was so broken up. Says and got up there and said, Sarah Boone, I'm not mad at you. And your reply was to say all the negative stuff, not only about George, but about her husband, her other children, his kids. And I didn't play it, but his kids did speak at the the oldest daughter spoke for all of the children, and he has 3 girls. And she was saying that not only did she lose a father, she lost a best friend. He had instilled so many values in them, and and taught them so much. So it's not about what a person looks like all the time, or whether or not they have some type of disease, or whether or not they're on drugs, or whether or not they're an alcoholic. You get to choose who you want to be around. You don't like alcoholics, don't go around alcoholics. You don't like drug addicts, don't go around drug addicts. That's your choice. But you don't get to take a person's life and you're still trying to assassinate his character. So I want to bring another thing to you guys' attention. She was upset. If you heard her say when she got on the stand that her statement was edited, the attorney made her edit it. It was worse than what she said. He made her edit it. So she's a little bothered by that. So I watched a what do you call those people? A body the expert, the body language expert. I think he was spot on with what he saw on that stand when she was reading that hurtful statement. He told about all of the things that was going on in her face. It's very interesting to watch. If you put in Sarah Boone, he'll probably come up. Maybe if I can find him, I'll put him in the description of the video. Maybe you can look at, like, if you're interested, you can take a look at it. It was very interesting to me. And so she has some flunkies. She has a woman that's disabled that she befriended. I don't care about all that. That doesn't move me, Sarah. You have not changed, and you have been incarcerated for 4 years and some days. So you can't blame alcohol. You can't blame anything else. It's just who you are. You're a narcissist who can't take accountability, and that's not going to be a good thing for you in the prison system. It's not going to be a good thing for her. So laugh always. You heard this case on a podcast. Yeah, it was crazy. I watched it all the way through. While back, if she was found anything but guilty, it would have been rigged, because there's no way she's anything but guilty. Absolutely, I agree. I already had from the interrogation. So there's no way you can accidentally lock or zip a suitcase up with somebody in it. That is the stupidest stuff I've ever heard. So laugh always. Not only did she lock him in that suitcase, she beat him with a bat. So it came out in trial, because I didn't hear it before. I heard that they took the bat But I didn't hear, like, they didn't let that part out, that he was assaulted with the bat. So at the trial, she said that she zipped him up. He was in there screaming at her, saying when he got out, he was going to unalive her. And she was so scared for her life. And he stuck two fingers out of the suitcase to zip it down. And she took the bat and hit his hand. Well, according to the medical examiner, that's not true. She said from the bruises and stuff that she saw on his body, he was beat with that bat before he got into that suitcase. And they did in a show and tell thing, or in the court, the prosecutor did. He didn't let nobody know he was getting ready to come up there and hit that suitcase with the same bat. And whatever the suitcase was made at, underneath the flap, it wouldn't even allow him to. And he hit it hard. I mean, the noise, it was loud, and nobody was expecting it. And he beat it over and over again. That bat wasn't doing anything to that suitcase. But the medical examiner already said that there was no way that he was beat with the bat inside the suitcase. It had to happen outside. So, it is what it is, but she's where she needs to be. She got life. So that's another thing that I want to say, because I was also kind of confused, because I'm like, wait a minute, does she have life with the possibility of parole, or life without parole? So in the state of Florida, life is life. There's no parole, none of that. So she's basically has a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Now, if the laws change, that might change for her. But as of right now, she got life. And so, yeah, she's doing, all the time. And this fool tried to get an appeal because the judge wouldn't let her use a public defender. I said, what? So what happened was they gave you 8 attorneys that you couldn't get along with. And so she went through 8 public defenders. The attorney that she had is a private attorney, Mr. Owens. I remember when he was on YouTube saying, does anybody think that I'm crazy if I take the Sarah Boone case? And people were telling him to run, do not do it. So he inserted himself. His whole law firm was there for the trial. He closed his law firm down to represent her. And she's innocent until proven guilty, but she was found guilty by a jury of her peers. And so she just needed to do something else before she took the ride out. And that's the way she decided to go out. So we have a special ride for Sarah. Special ride to your permanent home. That's the special ride for her. And maybe, just maybe, she won't harass any more judges. She has been harassing the judge that was over her divorce case. Like, it's really sick. And you want this judge to do a favor for you, but you're very, I don't even know what to put. She needs to learn how to, that's what she needs to learn how to do. But we can all be safe knowing that there's one less lunatic on the street, and we can move on to the next thing. So I don't know what I'm going to be covering next. I do have some things in mind. I just have to get with Flesh of the Gods. We're going to have to see how I'm going to work out the schedule. He was coming on at 8, but then he was on it the last 2 days between time. Well, we're going to have to figure that out. But because I like to go over there, and I enjoy, being over there. And, we have to wait to see what Cat Now Williams will be covering next. So I'm going to be harassing her. She's not getting away that easy. I already told her that before. We love her here. She needs to stay around. You need to be streaming something. Okay. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. Laugh always. I wish you were here from the beginning. Um, Chloe, I want you to get well, ma'am. I know you have the phone down, but I'm going to be praying for your recovery. Um, and I'm looking for you in the YouTube streets when you feel up to it and you go on and you'll come in the chat. The chats will never be the same without you, Chloe. You are a hoot. And Diggy, thanks so much for coming over and watching this also. And I will try to see what else I'm going to cover. I don't know if I'm going to do a rewind or I'm very interested in the Courtney Clinton case. I did a video on that case. That is a real doozy. But I think that we're kind of like a disadvantage because her parents were arrested. But now they said something about what they were arrested for. The evidence was found. It was attorney-client privilege. And so I don't think that they're charging them anymore. I don't know how that is. They stole the laptop that was Toby's. That's what his family affectionately knows him by, refers to him by, and his name is kind of like long, so I call him Toby. So they stole Toby's laptop, and through the attorney, he was bringing like the middleman between the parents and Courtney, trying to figure out what the password was. She finally got it. And they took it to somebody and just told them to extract the information off of the laptop. And the person did not know. He had no clue. And he did it. And so they were arrested for that. But now they're saying that the way they got the information, it was attorney-client privilege information, even though the parents aren't her. The attorneys don't represent the parents. And so they had even charged Courtney Clinton as well. She thought that she was going to a hearing at the time that this happened. And when she came to court, they charged her. The thing that bothered me the most is that her parents did an interview with TMZ. And the mother said that she think that her daughter liked Toby because he was a black man. And if she was if she was black and he was white, it was something really, really crazy. She's sure that they wouldn't have brought charges. That's just uncalled for. It's uncalled for. It means nothing. I don't understand. Me personally, I'm rocking with whoever is nice, to me. If we can get along, we can converse and all of that. It doesn't make a difference what color you are. It doesn't make a difference where you're from. It does not make a difference. So all of that, to bring that in there the way they said it, it just was, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Not only that, let me tell you guys something. This went over a lot of people's head because a lot of people didn't hear this. Now, Courtney Clinton, after she got arrested in Hawaii and they brought her back, she was supposed to be staying with her parents. She went outside to walk the dog. During the walk, she saw a young man. He was 18 years old. So she asked him, can she walk home with him? He said, yeah, he didn't see anything like anything wrong with that. But when she came close to him, he smelled liquor. She was drunk. She starts trying to kiss him. And he's like, no. like, no, she starts getting aggressive and starts pulling on him, telling him she's going to burn down his house, all sorts of stuff. So he got scared and texts his dad. His dad comes to the scene. She curses at the dad. She hits the dad. She smacks the dad. They call the police. At this time, the mother and father realize something is going on. So they go outside. He didn't press charges against her because he said he figured she was drunk. But if he had known that she was just arrested for unaliving somebody and everything that was going on with her in this case, he said he would have pressed charges. You should have pressed charges because, first of all, she approached your son and then she gets mad because he wouldn't kiss her. She's drunk. She's not supposed to be drunk. And so he didn't call the cops because he didn't know about what she was already facing. So he did an interview on a news station, but he would not let them show his face. I guess he doesn't want any issues with them, their neighbors. But my thing is, you should have just let the cops handle it, because that's the same behavior that got her arrested. So Courtney Clenny is definitely not she's not innocent. And not only that, she had cut Mr. Toby 2 weeks before this incident, before unaliving him. He had stitches in his face, like in his face into the lip. He was texting her from the hospital, telling her, I could have died. She was laughing, texting him back like, oh, well. Probably a month before that, they were on vacation. They were detained. Courtney tells the police he didn't do anything. Normally, I'm the one that jumps on him. Basically, if he says something she don't like, she's going to jump on him. Now, all this stuff can be and will be, I don't know if they're going to use what the parent and the 18-year-old said. I don't know if they're going to use that, but definitely when they were on vacation and they were detained, they're going to use that. So that is another important one. But Kat Knott Williams said that she may cover that case. But yeah, I was definitely interested in covering that one. But then I'll do like rewinds of trials that people haven't seen. So I'll keep you all posted. Thank you for taking the time to come here and while I gave my little semi rant about what is the child name? Sarah Boone, Sarah Paulson with an E. She needs to stop using that name because you're not Sarah Boone anymore. You weren't Sarah Boone when you got arrested. You're Sarah Paulson with the E, not to be mistaken for the other lady. So thank you for watching. Thank you all over there that's watching on X. I still refer to it as Twitter, on the Twitters. And thank you for stopping here and watching with me and bearing with me in the rant that I had. But I was pretty upset about this here chick here. And so I'm going to end the show the way I always end it. I like to remind you all to please make sure that you are getting your mammograms, filling on your boobies. Let men know that they can get breast cancer too. We've changed it. We gave it a new name, peck or chest cancer. I do know breast is a little, it's a little touch and go when it comes to men. You hear the word breast and you automatically assume, or women. You make that correlation that breast, women. So a lot of men may not want to call it that. That's fine. We're going to call it peck or chest cancer, whichever one you want. Just need to make you aware that it is a thing and that men can get breast cancer too. Spread the word this year for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That was my focus. is to educate men that they do get breast cancer too. My uncle had breast cancer. He's a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And so it's very important to me for you guys to make sure that you are, checking yourselves, doing self-breast examinations. If you don't know how to do it, you can Google it. But they normally at the gynecologist's office, they have the placards that you can put in the shower, and it tells you step by step how to do them, because early detection is the best protection. I have to change what I'm saying, because if Empress hear me, she's gonna say, no. So they told me that I would not be here. I had a very aggressive type of cancer, triple negative breast cancer, and I'm 17 plus years, going on 18. My 18th year is coming up, and still here, still making it do what it do, and made a bucket list, crossed everything off my bucket list that I said I was going to do in this life, and I did a little more than that, and grateful for that. So I'm grateful that I get to share all of this with you, and grateful that each time you watch my show, you are going to hear that I'm going to remind you to please get those mammograms. Fill your boobies to make sure that you are all right. All right. And don't you dare let anyone come into your house and disturb the peace that passes all understanding. I'm Survivor Speaks. I'll see you in the next live. I'll see you in these Twitter or YouTube streets. I don't Instagram. I frequent a little bit. I'm not over there too much, but I'm over there. So I'll see you guys over there on Twitter or over here in these YouTube streets. Until next time, peace. I don't know what this thing, I don't know. Don't show me this again.
Full cycle, I just might though, just like a Michael. Mama gone now, I'm thinking death is not we entitled. And it was me versus me, them battles had to fight through. And when you way in the dark, them demons try to fight you. But you can't let them win, you gotta see the damn light. Diabetes came from nowhere, messed up whole life. That's what I used to think, my mama helped me out. I got one dear in the sky to make proud, don't count me out. Let's get it started, rest in peace my mama, I don't wanna talk. Fresh fit, who that little nigga, fresh the way he walk. New drip, I'm that one dude creating all the sauce. News flip.